Hello, fellow gamers and hobbyists. Today I am bringing you the third part of my Age of Sigmar discussion reviews, whatever you want to call it. I did have this big spiel about, basically I was going to talk about where Age of Sigmar has gone from its release, where it's going to go in the future in my own opinion, but I don't feel like I should talk about that. I kind of want to talk about the community, but it's not really a true community discussion. I haven't, because I don't enjoy reading some of the comments that people put regarding Age of Sigmar. I don't really read that much. What I'm gathering from reading articles and whatever is that the community is divided almost in half. Half the people love it, half the people hate it. No, there or thereabouts. There's a third group of people who just get on with it, and they either play the game or don't play the game, and they don't really have any sort of feelings towards it. They enjoy playing Age of Sigmar for the fun, but now Warhammer's no longer their competitive game. But I may touch on that at the end of the video. And what I really sort of don't understand is how people. I mean, yes, okay, you've spent all this money on this game, on Warhammer, but what I don't understand is why people think that Games Workshop are going to drop Age of Sigmar. Now, this isn't a little specialist games that they can just go, yeah, don't worry, like Dreadfleet. This was just a limited release. Never going to expand on it. It was just going to be this. No. This is taken over one of their core ranges. Now, from what I understand, Warhammer 40,000 has been kicking the arse of Warhammer Fantasy Battle on the sales front for a very long time. And obviously that's because less kids now are interested in. I mean, they're not interested in fantasy sort of settings, but sci-fi really is sort of a much more high-profile thing. So you've got your things like Star Wars, even such things like Call of Duty. You know, you've got these first-person shooters where you've got a gun. It's futuristic, and you basically, you're a guardsman or you're a space marine. I mean, I personally enjoy a fantasy setting more than a sci-fi setting. That's just my sort of flavour. But I understand that the general consensus out there, especially in younger people, which you've got to remember, Games Workshop, yes, they're going to cater to people, but as you get older, and as I've got older, I found I'm spending a lot less money on Games Workshop and a lot more money on real life stuff. So that's obviously got to take priority. So you maybe do still, I mean, I still buy, Games Workshop stuff. I still go in to the shop and I still buy bits for my armies. But it's not like I used to be when I was, like a 17, 18-year-old when I got my first job and all my paycheck just went on, going to buy a new army every 3 months or something and going to get all the new releases and I'm going to get hyped for it. Now, I sort of have to pick and choose where I'm going to be on the new release scale and pick stuff up there and that way. But Games Workshop has to look at the younger generation because they're the people that they're going to have for the next 10 to 15 years. Buying their product, playing their games, basically being ambassadors for the company to their group of friends. And they like the sci-fi look. Kids nowadays don't have the attention span. Like, I'm 29 years old nearly. When I started out, when I was 10, obviously we didn't have PS4s, Xbox Ones, whatever. When I was that age, I had a Nintendo. And I was, my parents were quite strict. I was only allowed to play for an hour a night or whatever. And it was only as long as I'd done my homework, or it was only, after I'd done whatever chores I had to do around the house. That was when I was allowed to play games. And I filled a lot of my time as a child coming into a young adult. I spent a lot of my time nose deep in a book and reading and learning about all these different fantasy worlds, and that was how I spent my time. Now, kids, they get in from school, they throw the bag down, they put the PlayStation on. I know because I have a younger brother. He's only 10 years younger than me. Well, not even 10 years younger than me. He's 9 years younger than me. And he does that. That's what he does. He did, sorry. He doesn't do it anymore. He comes in from work and does that now. But when he was at school and uni, at college, he would come in, he would drop his bag, and he would turn his computer on. Because we all have, back when I was 10, 11, I mean, he's 20 now, but when I was 10 or 11, there weren't bedrooms. Every bedroom didn't have its own TV. There was maybe two in a house, and now everyone's got a better net. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 TVs in my house. There aren't even 8 people living here. So, there's always somewhere you can go. Or there's also 5 laptops, infinite mobile phones and MP3 players and tablets. So, nowadays it's very easy to just get hold of media. And in the media, we're subjected now to fast-paced sort of bursts of whatever we're into. So you watch a TV show, it lasts 45 minutes, it lasts an hour with adverts. It lasts 45 minutes, or it lasts half an hour, or it lasts 20 minutes, or it's Family Guy, it lasts 15 minutes. You play on your games, you play a multiplayer game, it only lasts 10 minutes. Video game single players are much shorter now. I remember playing things like Ocarina of Time and sinking hours into it, Final Fantasy sinking hours and hours. Yes, obviously you've still got those games. But the popular games that get released every year, Call of Duty, FIFA, Assassin's Creed, their single player bits, very short bursts. Like Assassin's Creed, it's all cut up by cutscenes, it's all, you do this, and that's it. You've done a little sequence. You play Call of Duty, each level's very short, you get a cutscene. You play FIFA, you play half a game. Obviously you have half of a football match. You have a break, you have another half of a football match. That's what we're subjected to. And that's what Games Workshop, I think, from what I can tell, is trying to do with Age of Sigmar. Well, that was a long rant. But Age of Sigmar seems to be best played as a skirmish game. Very much like 40k used to be. I remember when 40k used to be a good game at 1,000 points. Now you can't get anything for 1,000 points. All of your formations take up nearly half that, or all of that, or more than that. So you really need to play 40k at 1,500 points as a minimum to get a decent game of 40k. Age of Sigmar, you can probably put 20, 25 models, 30 models down on the table and play that in half an hour. The starter box, I have 2 copies of the Khorne lot from the starter box, and I use that to sort of, I got a couple of friends who were interested in Age of Sigmar, so I said, tell you what, we'll put down equal models on each side, and we played the game in about 20 minutes, boom, boom. And they both had a good time. I had a good time. But I don't think Age of Sigmar is going to work in a tournament scene. I think Age of Sigmar is going to be very much that. You play half hour, 45-minute games, and that's it. You extend it if you're in a social environment. You have a drink, you have snacks, you get pizza or whatever, you talk about the thing. So I think that's how it works. Or, for the old ones, what I think Games Workshop's tried to do, which I don't think sort of has worked on a lot of people, is they've tried to turn the game into a narrative. It's almost, because they've released a few campaign books where you play through the campaign and you read the fluff and you build this story, almost like it's a tabletop role-playing game where you're in command of large amounts of models. Normally when you play a role-playing game and you've got models, you're in charge of 1, maybe 2, sometimes at a push if it's not a very story-driven game. I've played in a game where I had 2 characters running around at the same time. It was very tiring. But again, it's that short little interludes of gaming that you can do, that you can play. And I think that's how Games Workshop seems to be going in the direction of building this game geared towards the younger audience who are going to be with them for the next 10 to 15 years. So you've got 11-year-old guys, 11-year-old girls coming into the store. They're probably going to be playing the game until their mid to late 20s if, they get impassioned by it. If not, it's not too bad. It's not a lot of attention thing that they've put into it. But their attention span is so much shorter than it used to be from when I was a kid that they prefer this. I mean, You see kids now, like they used to do big games at Games Workshops. Used to have massive tables set out, and they would last all day. The games would last 7, 8 hours. Now that doesn't happen. You see kids just standing around getting bored. Oh yeah, annoying the staff members, and yeah, I just think now that seems to be what Games Workshop's aiming at. And it's weird that it's only just hit me in the last 10 minutes how much that it's just really kind of a sad thing that children aren't going to get the gaming experience that we had when we were younger. People who have played Warhammer for years. Um, whilst I'm not going to change my stance on Age of Sigmar, I think it's a fun game. It's not as engaging, and I don't think. I think that's a good thing for the children and the younger guys that are coming through to play this, because of how the world is now and how the world is going to be in the future. I think it's a smart business plan from Games Workshop for that reason. But yeah, do you agree with that? If so, pop it down in the comments. If not, what do you think? I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear your feedback. And yeah, I would like to thank everybody for watching and sticking with me. Sorry this has got a bit off topic, but yeah, I've got a few more videos lined up. I'm going to do a Fire Slayers review. I'm going to do an Archeon review. And I'm going to do some other reviews on Games Workshop products and other games as well. So please stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This has been a garbled mess. I can't even say garbled, because I wanted to get so much into this video. But I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you soon.